Okay, so for those of you not in the know, one of my favorite superheroes, I might even go as far as to say my favorite superhero, is actually Aquaman. Um, Partly because a lot of people think he's a joke, and partly because he's pretty awesome in his own right. So it's kind of I like the underdog type characters, so that's why Aquaman probably definitely my favorite DC superhero, probably my favorite superhero, at least as of the time of this recording. I've been known to waffle back and forth on who my favorite superhero is a lot. So needless to say, I was pretty psyched when I found out that this movie was coming out. Because I was understandably pissed when Aquaman was left out of the first Justice League New 52 animated film, replaced with Shazam. I like Shazam, but he's no Aquaman. So, I've been a big fan of Aquaman before the New 52, and his New 52 book is really great. If anyone hasn't read that, maybe I'll do a review of that. But New 52 Aquaman so far has been great. And one of the best storylines in that series has been the Throne of Atlantis storyline, which is the big Justice League crossover, the big Atlantis declares war. Every Aquaman story is kind of the same. Well, all the big Aquaman stories are kind of the same. Orm declares war on the surface dwellers. There's more to it than that, but that's usually the big ones, and that's what this story is. Based off, as I said, Volume 3 of the Aquaman New 52 series. And I'll cut to the chase. It was pretty good. I don't think it was as good as the comic it was based on, but I'll get to that. But they did. I think they did the best they could with the 90 minutes or so that they had. Yeah, there's two big differences between the book and the movie. One of them is that in the book, Aquaman is already an established hero, and there's definitely more of divided loyalties between the Justice League and the Atlanteans. Where Aquaman's like, he's just as likely to fight off the Justice League as he is to fight Atlanteans in that story because, he doesn't want to fight his friends, he doesn't want to fight his brother, he doesn't want to fight his people, he doesn't want to fight, the cops or the army, but he has to. If his brother starts going after Superman, he's going to fight his brother. If Batman starts going after his brother, he's going to fight Batman. It was a pretty good story. But that's not what it is in the movie. In the movie, it serves this also. Not only is it the War of Atlantis storyline, it's also Aquaman's origins story. So they didn't have the divided loyalties thing. It was pretty much just black and white, good versus evil. On that note, probably the most glaring change is that they changed Orm. In the book, he was way more of a sympathetic character. You can see where he's coming from. Sure, he caused a lot of, major deaths. He destroyed a city and flooded two other cities. But, I can see where he's coming from. Also, it turns out, spoiler alert, minor spoilers for the book, the whole situation was kind of manipulated by a third character, by like a third party, for their own reasons, which is very interesting in its own right, but that's talking about the book now. So the movie, Orm is just like a crazy bastard who just wants to kill because why not? Wants to take over the surface world because hey, he can, I guess, or so he thinks. The movie. I'm going to say one thing. The biggest problem I had with this movie was the animation. During the action scenes, the animation was beautiful. It was very fluid. The action scenes were great. Everyone looked cool. Everyone had their moment to do something cool. So the action scenes are awesome. On the downside, the talking scenes look really, really bad to me. Like the characters just stand motionless and their mouths like open up and flap. And they literally use the same shot of Aquaman, like once when he's about to win, like once when he's before they go to the big battle, and like at the end, it's like literally the same shot of him in two different locations, and they just so could have used some better subtle animation on the talkie scenes, but I guess if I had to pick, I would rather have the action scenes look better than the talking scenes, because the talking scenes aren't really about the animation, it's about the dialogue and the voice acting and the story. So if I had to pick one, I guess I would go with the action scenes to be better animated. think I just reiterated a little bit. But speaking of action scenes, this movie is like fucking violent as hell. This is probably the most violent DC movie since The Dark Knight Strikes, The Dark Knight Returns. Flashpoint was pretty violent too, but this one, Jesus Christ, Mira does not give a fuck. Mira is Aquaman's wife, and she's just slicing dice, man. She's essentially a waterbender, and she's just raining bladed water, sharp, hard ice. I guess it's ice. You know what I mean? Just raining arrows made of water down on people, slicing people in half, sending like swords through their heads. It was fucking. I enjoyed it, but goddamn. It's also, and the other members of the Justice League also, you know, they're not nearly as violent as her, but they get some good shots in, and it's kind of funny because like the Atlanteans. In the big fight at the end, the Atlanteans actually don't really attack anyone. They just kind of show up on the shores of, I think it's Metropolis. And then they're like, we're taking over. And then Orm like blows up a tank. And then the Justice League come and just start murdering them. Just completely murdering them indiscriminately. And it's kind of funny. But especially when it turns out that the Atlanteans, they weren't really bad. They're just being manipulated by Orm. So, sorry. A lot of orphans were made during the battle at the end of this movie. But the story, it's good. It's just you pretty much can tell what's going to happen just by looking at the cover. The Aquaman origin story is really good. There's a really great scene in the beginning. Aquaman's first scene is him drunk in a seafood restaurant bar, and he's like talking to the lobster tank. Like, you know, he's commiserating with the lobsters in a lobster tank. It's pretty funny. The voice acting was really good. Aquaman is done by the same guy who does Anakin in Clone Wars, and he was really good. Orm talks in this grandiose like King's English accent. And he was awesome. Like, no one else in Atlantis speaks in that fashion. For some reason, he has this pompous British accent going on. Which, now whenever I read Orm, that's the voice I hear in my head. Even though in the book, Orm is way less of a pompous asshole. At least New 52, he's way less of a pompous asshole. Still pretty pompous, though, so the voice still fits. But Orm's voice is great. They changed... The best thing... Okay, Justice League War, I never reviewed. Ooh, I'm dating this review if I ever do it. But I think it was okay. The only part that I really liked about it was Green Lantern. He was really funny. And they're kind of continuing him. My friend was like, oh, the green douchebag is what my friend calls him. Because they really portray Hal to be kind of an asshole. But, as I've said before, I like asshole-ish characters. So, I really enjoyed that. His voice actor was fine in the last movie. I really liked his voice actor. They replaced him with Nathan Fillion. And I like Nathan Fillion too. Nothing against Nathan Fillion. I thought the last guy was great though. So Nathan Fillion's kind of become sort of the Kevin Conroy of Hal Jordan, where like if it's not him, I think a lot of fans are like, oh, why didn't you get Nathan Fillion to do it? So anyway, I like Nathan Fillion. So no complaints. It's weird. I'm just talking about nothing. I like the last guy. Didn't think he needed to be replaced, but I'm not mad that he got replaced because I like the guy he was replaced with. Superman is a lot better in this movie. He came off as kind of an asshole in Justice League War. I thought it was handled way better in this movie. He's not in it that much, but he's not like being an asshole. So Shazam Shazam may kind of overplay the fact that he's a little kid. I think he can get. It was better in this movie. I think the writing overall is way better in this movie than it was in Justice League War. There's only one time Shazam. I don't like that victory thing where he chants. I think it's kind of lame. It's a little not lame, but it's more like cringy. Like I kind of cringe whenever he does that. But he's fine. I think he has a good relationship with Cyborg. Cyborg's fine in this movie. He was kind of like the star of the last movie. He's pretty big in this movie too, but he's not as big as he was in the last movie. The last he was the Aquaman of the last movie. Batman gets he's Batman. Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman. Flash is Flash. Yeah, this is an Aquaman movie. The other guys are just kind of hanging out in the background. Oh, there's a great scene in this movie where Batman doesn't show up to the Justice League meeting, and Green Lantern's like, screw this, and he flies to Gotham, and Batman's chasing down Scarecrow henchmen, and the Scarecrow henchmen are like, Scarecrow doesn't pay us enough to deal with this, and he doesn't pay you enough to deal with Batman. Like, what did you expect when you signed up to work with the Scarecrow? Like, did you not expect Batman was going to beat the shit out of you? Because that should probably be in the. Did you read the fine print? But then Green Lantern just kind of kills them. It's never said that they're dead, but they're totally dead. Um, in case you haven't seen the movie, they're driving the car, and Green Lantern like first he does like a Hot Wheels a Hot Wheel track to like sends him on a big Hot Wheel track, and then he puts like a concrete barricade, a Green Lantern construct barricade at the end of it, so they crash into it, and then they just show them in their car, and they're all bleeding out of their ears, and none of them are moving. Green Lantern apparently doesn't give a fuck about killing people either, which I enjoy. Yeah, I think that's about. The special features on the Blu-ray. There's a documentary about the Aquaman villains, and there's only really two Aquaman villains. It's Orm and Black Manta. So I guess they didn't want to go into the Fisherman or Quisp, but. It was a really cool documentary. It didn't tell me anything I didn't know, but if you don't really know that much about Black Manta or Aquaman, or Aquaman or Black Manta or Orm or Ocean Master, it's pretty cool. It's probably on YouTube now. So there also is this documentary about the score of the movie. I was expecting like a little 15-minute, maybe 20-minute thing about the score. This was like it felt almost as long as the movie. Like it was a really long documentary about the scoring of this film. And it was really interesting. I didn't expect it to be that in-depth. So that actually was kind of a surprise treat. No commentary. I was kind of sad about that. Can't win them all. That reminds me. Talking about the villains documentary reminded me. Black Manta is also in this movie. He's in this movie for no reason other than the fact that he's Aquaman's main villain. He's working with the Atlanteans. He has ulterior motives, but they never go into it. He's working. The Atlanteans are completely distrustful of surface dwellers, so I don't know why they allow Black Manta to hang around. I guess he must have done something to earn their trust. I don't know, but his design is okay. Black Manta's design is weird. Like it can get really dumb, or it can be awesome. I didn't like it that much in this one. It wasn't bad, but he had like the Spider-Man webs. He had like webbing under his arms. I didn't like. I didn't like the design of the helmet, and he also had like Bane kind of tubes coming out of his helmet, which, again, anyone fighting Black Manta can just cut that and he'll have no air. So, not a good design. And also, no point to be in this movie because he, I don't want to spoil anything. But let's just say there's a great Indiana Jones shooting the guy with the sword moment in this movie involving Aquaman and Black Manta. And if you read the first volume of the New 52 Justice League, it'll look very familiar to you. Perhaps I've said too much already. But, which was really, probably one of the best moments of the movie, even though it didn't ruin, but it kind of made Black Manta's character completely pointless. Unless they reveal more of what his ulterior motives were. I don't know. They're probably not going to. Because, okay, that's... Period. So it's a good movie. I would rank it on the upper echelons of the DC animated movies. Maybe my bias is showing because I'm an Aquaman fanboy, but I really liked it. Okay, spoiler alert. At the very end, they're doing like the Marvel teaser things at the end. At the end, they show Orm, and he's in Belle Reve. He's in a superhero prison. And Luthor comes up, and he's like, I'm doing something evil, want in? So I guess next movie is going to be a Justice Legion of Doom story. Maybe they'll do Forever Evil. I'd be psyched if they did Forever Evil. One of the best, because I liked Forever Evil a lot. I would like to see animated Forever Evil. Unfortunately, it would be Orm instead of Black Manta, which would be kind of lame, because Black Manta and Captain Cold was the funniest and best part of Forever Evil. Bizarro was good too. But Captain Cold and Black Manta, for my money, was the best part of that story. So, hopefully, I don't think they're going to do Forever Evil, because... unless they change it too much. Because the Justice League is not a part of that story. Batman is, though, so maybe. They can't call it Justice League Forever Evil because the Justice League are not in it. They can call it Injustice League Forever Evil and try to trick people. And Batman's a major character, so they can slap him on the cover. Maybe they will do for every villain. I don't know. Or they'll just do a generic Justice League versus Legion of Doom story, which I'm happy with too. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. Check it out. I'm not going to tell you to. I'm not going to tell you to buy it, rent it, or whatever. But if people keep stealing these movies, they're going to stop making them. So I'm going to encourage people to pay money for this, or at least watch it with me. All right, I'll see you guys next time.